In 1670, the French mathematician and Christian philosopher Blaise Pascal published a collection of theological work titled Thoughts, in which he put forward an argument that has since been known as Pascal's wager. Simply stated, Pascal's wager argues that you're better off believing in God, because if you're right, you stand to gain eternal joy, and if you're wrong, it won't make any difference whatsoever. Yet, on the other hand, if you don't believe in God and turn out to be wrong, you'll receive eternal suffering, whereas if you're right, it will make no difference at all. It's an argument that has remained very popular among apologists from many different religions, and this fact alone actually reveals one of the major problems this argument has. If multiple, mutually exclusive religions can use Pascal's wager, then what good is it? Or, to put it another way, the person that uses Pascal's wager necessarily straight out ignores every other religion and God, and hence its foundation relies on a false dichotomy. While Pascal's wager might appear to be philosophically coherent from a distance, the slightest inspection brutally and quite comically demolishes it. In fact, it fails on every single level. Right from the get-go, and as already briefly mentioned, it commits the black and white fallacy, making it a false dichotomy. It assumes that there is either a very, very specific God, or that there is absolutely nothing. By committing the black and white fallacy, and again, as already mentioned, Pascal's wager utterly ignores all other religions and religious subsects. Pascal himself was assuming that the God of Christianity, that is the God of his culture, was the one and only true God. Yet, if he had grown up in any one of 1,000 other cultures, he would have assumed the existence of any one of 1,000 other gods. Which God is the real one? They all claim to be real, and if you just so happen to be born in the wrong culture, then what? And what if you choose the wrong sect of the right religion? After all, there are over 40,000 denominations of Christianity alone, who all dramatically disagree with one another on very important issues such as abortion, equal rights, and euthanasia. Furthermore, by ignoring all other religions, Pascal's wager also ignores all other possible heavens and hells, which are central to many theistic religions. For example, religions descended from Mesopotamian culture, including Catholicism, Islam, and Judaism, all have sects that describe 7 types of heavens and hells. This is also true of many Eastern religions, such as some sects of Hinduism, who believe in 7 levels of Patala. As if these objections and flaws weren't already enough, Pascal's wager also indirectly claims that belief and worshipping costs you nothing, when this simply isn't true. Most theistic religions demand a great deal from believers, from abstaining from alcohol, to praying several times a day, to not having sex before marriage. And yet, despite the fact that just one of these critical flaws completely defeats Pascal's wager, the following 2 objections fiercely slam the final nails into its coffin. Pascal's wager assumes that people can choose what they believe, when this simply isn't true. Either something makes sense to you, to varying degrees, or it doesn't. For example, you can't choose to believe that the Earth is the shell of a turtle. Of course, it's true that you can expose yourself to the arguments and evidence that support this belief, if there is any, but you can't choose to wholeheartedly, 100% believe it's true upon will. In fact, those who claim that you can indeed choose what you believe are either mentally ill or they're lying. They're lying to you, they're lying to themselves, and ironically, they're lying to their deity. And on the topic of lying to their deity, this takes us comfortably to what many people believe is one of the worst flaws in Pascal's wager. It assumes that if there is a God, then it can be fooled by a human pretending to believe in it. However, considering that many theistic religions attribute the qualities of omnipotence and omnipresence to their deity, this necessarily means that their God is impervious to lies. This means that Pascal's wager would either do nothing to save you, or that the God in reference favours liars who claim to believe in it over honest people who can't, making that God grotesquely immoral. Under this circumstance, and to paraphrase Matt Dillahunty, I'd personally prefer to endure eternal anguish than to support such an immoral dictator. Might doesn't make right. So, to recap, Pascal's wager is flawed because it commits the black and white fallacy, and in doing this it ignores all other religions and it ignores all other heavens and hells. It indirectly claims that belief doesn't cost you. It insists that belief is a choice, and it assumes that the God in reference can either be fooled or that it rewards liars. So, is Pascal's wager a reasonable, rational, logical and consistent argument? Is it fuck? However, I will leave you with this remarkably convincing argument to consider. You're better off subscribing to Rationality Rules, because if you do, you stand a chance to be notified whenever a new video is released. And if you miss that video, then it won't make any difference whatsoever. Yet, on the other hand, if you don't subscribe to Rationality Rules, you'll receive eternal suffering by not being notified when a new video is released. I'm not mental. I wouldn't attack you just because you don't want to subscribe to my preferences. That would be, shall we say, religious? Anyway, cheers for the view, guys. Bye bye.